It's another weekend. We have 4 days of HBCU football: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like Sherelle and Alexander O'Neal. I'm Tolly Carr. This is Symone Stanley. I love to throw out references that she has no idea.
How you know I don't know?
Do you know?
I laugh.
But do you know? Weekend Love.
I know my Aunt Sherelle.
Well, unless she was singing with Alexander O'Neal, that's a different Sherelle. What's up? You good?
Yeah.
You good? You good? I'm good. Let's get right to it. Let's take a look at the schedule because we have games tonight. It's Thursday as we sit here and talk. And we'll start in the SWAC here. As you see TC Taylor checking out that schedule. He's like, who we play, Tolly? Who we play? Well, you don't play tonight, TC. But we do have Alcorn State, Northwestern State, Alabama State at UAB. That's Trent Dilford and the boys at UAB. Okay. Yeah, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's going to be a tough one for Alabama State. We got Bethune-Cookman on Friday night at Florida International. And then the big games on Saturday in the SWAC. You got Jackson State hosting Hampton, FAMU Howard, Orange Blossom Classic. That's a rematch of the Celebration Bowl from a couple of years ago. Alabama A&M getting that money on the road. Mississippi Valley State opening up at home. They got Southern. We just saw Southern.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them in a little bit. Arkansas Pine Bluff at Texas Tech. Get that money. Prairie View, Texas Southern. The Labor Day Classic, and then Langston. Don't sleep on Langston. They're going to Grambling. They might be overmatched, but Langston has traditionally had a good team at their level, so they might surprise some people early on. I'll tell you what I love about that SWAC schedule, Hampton, Jackson State. I like that contrasting styles and identities of those two schools. What do you like on the SWAC slate this week?
I like the Southern Mississippi Valley State game. Obviously, Southern coming off the week 0 loss. This should be a matchup that's in their favor. However, this is a new Mississippi Valley State team, new identity, new coach. We were both at SWAC Football Media Day. We heard the players. We heard Coach talking like, we actually heard them not talking because their message was, we're not talking. We're going to let it all speak on the field. So I know Southern is coming into this game. You know, Mississippi Valley these past couple of years been the team you just roll up on, get your win, head out. But Southern, coming off a loss last week, wasn't really able to get much going on either side of the ball. So this is going to be a game that they have to be on their P's and Q's. Can't sleep on Mississippi Valley this week. So I'm interested in that one.
Yeah, you got Terrell Buckley down there. He says buckle up. So it's always interesting when Valley gets a new coach to see if somebody can be that somebody. Like Aaliyah.
I knew I was going there. Are you that
I'll bring
somebody?
A little closer to your generation.
Yeah.
Terrell Buckley, are you that somebody for Valley?
Buckle up. Southern got to buckle up.
And Southern, hey, Southern's got to buckle up too.
They got to buckle up.
Yeah, we'll get into the MEAC SWAC Challenge in just a bit. Let's check out the MEAC schedule, which starts out with, hey, ESPN said these two guys here, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, we're going to need that on a Thursday night. You got Towson at Norfolk State, Delaware at Delaware State. On Saturday, of course, Howard FAMU, we talked about that. North Carolina Central at home for their second game of the year, taking on New Hampshire. South Carolina State welcomes Wofford, and Morgan State on the road at South Alabama. But all eyes on Norfolk. ESPN was broadcasting there. You had Cam Newton out there. You had First Take. HBCU Game Day is there. All eyes on the debut of Michael Vick.
Yeah, and first of all, shout out to First Take because they have the most HBCUs on their tour schedule this year. We know Cam Newton said he wants to be a guy in HBCU football. He wants to be a face. And he really set the tone. I don't know if you saw the intro where, you know, they come out and set the stage for First Take, but Cam brought a lot of energy, so shout out to them. But you already know, like, where my eyes are this season. It's at Delaware. It's at Norfolk State. You already know, fly Eagles fly, okay? So I'm super excited for tonight. I'm going to be seated. Hopefully ESPN Plus got both these games so I can be tapped in.
Yeah, I think the Norfolk State game is on ESPNU, I think, and then Delaware State is on Plus, if I'm not mistaken. But they're both in the ESPN ecosystem. A lot on the line for Michael Vick. Do you think people are going to kind of give him a little rope to get his feet wet as a coach, or are they going to expect prime time part 2 at Norfolk?
Yeah, I mean, Prime set the bar high when it comes to like coming into a program and instantly becoming a contender. So, that bar is set high. I do think that they should give them a little bit of a leash when it comes to Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson, because it's a tall task. Like, Deion was able to do it, and shout out and kudos, but that's crazy to expect every first-year head coach, not even just at these programs, but first-year head coach in general, to come in and instantly turn the team into contender. Now, I know my expectations are high. But I think the fans of these specific programs should give them a little bit of time.
Does Deshaun Jackson have a little more? He kind of feels like, to me, Michael Vick is like 1A, Deshaun is like maybe 1A.5. I'm going to mix it up a little bit, just because Vick was a quarterback.
Yeah.
His name just carries a little more weight. Do you think that gives Deshaun a little more breathing room at Delaware State? And people have never expected anything out of Delaware State.
Yeah. I mean, Deshaun Jackson has the harder task at hand because Delaware State, it's a lot of work he's going to have to do to turn around that program, where Norfolk State already had a foundation of success and recent success. Just needed to, put the final touches here and there and be able to close it out. So I think Deshaun Jackson definitely should get a much longer leash than Michael Vick does, because he has to turn them, like, first of all, he's got to gain them respect. Norfolk already has respect, you know what I mean? It's just about turning them into that contender, and can they, win this MEAC. But Delaware State, he's got to, get the fan base to buy in, get the staff to buy in, get players to buy in, turn it into a respectable a program that's going to gain some respect when they step on the field. So he has a much harder task.
And Norfolk is interesting because the overall athletic program has respect. And a lot of that has to do with what Coach Jones has done with the basketball program. But if you're keeping it real, like, Norfolk State football hadn't been great.
They haven't been like
cellar dweller.
Yeah, they haven't been like bottom, you know what I mean? Like, they still biting down on their chin strap on Saturdays, you know what I mean? But again, like you said, exactly, they already have the buy-in from the fans because of what the women's basketball and the men's basketball team. So, like, athletics at Norfolk State has respect, you know what I mean? They already got, the fans are already bought into Norfolk State University athletics. When it comes to Delaware State, there's not really any excitement across any athletic department. So it's going to be a lot harder for Deshaun Jackson to get that buy-in instantly. But you got my vote.
Yeah, and to remind people, you have the RV set up and ready to go for the Delaware State Norfolk State game.
Yeah, so I might be selling some plates at the game or something. So yeah, come by my RV.
That creator economy is real. You gotta make it happen. We're going to jump back into the game that we saw last weekend in just a bit, but we want to get to one of the hot topics, and that's HBCU players, former HBCU players who made the 53-man rosters this week in the NFL. Symone, did you have any big surprises? What kind of stood out to you as cut day came this week?
No real surprises. Majority of the players that made the roster we expected to. Most of the HBCU players on these 53-man rosters are veterans, names we're very familiar with. 53-man roster cut date was Tuesday, the 20...
Something.
Because you were going to be like, say today. The 26th was the cut day.
That sounds right.
So, we had over 20 HBCU players make the initial 53-man roster. This is ever-changing. 24 players, to be exact, made the initial rosters. The SWAC had 12 players representing on NFL 53s. The MEAC had 7. Division IIs had 4. And what are we calling, like, A&T, independent?
Yeah, they're the CIAA for now, but we kind of call Hampton, A&T, Tennessee State independent.
Independent because they're not an HBCU conference.
Yeah.
So that would be one with A&T representing there. So the team that had the most HBCU players represented on 53-man rosters, North Carolina Central.
You were about to say North.
I will soon. North Carolina Central had 3 and Jackson State had 3. So,
and for the record, we are counting Shador Sanders and Travis Hunter as Jackson State.
Jackson State has Shador, who's with the Browns, Travis Hunter, who's with the Jags, and James Houston, who's now with Dallas. So 3 players from Jackson State on the initial 53-man roster.
Let me hear you say it. I have not heard you say it this year yet. When you say Dallas, what do you call them?
See, please notice the way I say Dallas, because that's a city. The team is the little boys.
All right, there you go.
That's why I try to be careful when I'm trying to be professional. I just say Dallas, because that's a city, you know?
Well, what you call the team again?
But the team are the little boys. Sorry, James Houston. Very nice family, though, but I hate that you got to be on that team. See y'all next Thursday. But yeah.
So let's talk about the.
I didn't finish.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Norfolk Central.
Who is that? Norfolk Central.
North Carolina Central, the Eagles, they have 3 players as well. Corey Bullock, offensive lineman with the Ravens, Brandon Codrington, cornerback with the Bills, and Torricelli, my handwriting is terrible, I'm sorry. Torricelli Simpkins, the offensive lineman with the Saints.
All right, Norfolk Central. Way to go, Norfolk Central. How about there was an interesting little tidbit on D2 players that made it. There's one school that you might not think has the most players in the NFL from the D2 level. Who is that school?
So Division 2.
Have you had your tea today?
Division 2 HBCUs have 4 players representing on the initial 53-man roster. Fayetteville State University had 2. Okay, so shout out to Fayetteville State University. Keon Smith, offensive lineman. He's been in the league for a little minute now. And then also Joshua Smith, cornerback.
Williams or Smith?
Joshua Williams, excuse me.
You had me second guess. Like, I think his name is Williams.
I'm starting my day with this show. I'm sorry, I should have knocked out the Cowboys. Joshua Williams, y'all know him. Yeah. Super Bowl, beat my team that year, but we got our lick back. So shout out Joshua Williams. See you week 2.
He might even get an invite to the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce.
Yeah, he might be at the
wedding. That's a big deal. Let's talk about Shedeur. People were like, what's going to happen? Is he going to make the team? I didn't even realize, because we were getting ready for that game on Saturday, the MEAC SWAC last week, and I guess they played the night before, and it kind of went over my head in the radar, and he didn't have great numbers. I didn't see the game.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of speculation. Then at the last second, Kenny Pickett gets traded. So now that quarterback room goes from 4 to 3.
Yeah.
Shedeur is listed as the number 3. I, Symone, don't think that's a bad way for him to start out. Because I figure Flacco's either going to get hurt or is going to look old at some point.
Yeah.
I think he's going to maybe flash early and then run out of gas. I think that's going to put a lot of pressure on Gabriel to get in there, prove he can be a starter, but also know that half the world wants to see Shedeur. And Shedeur's used to the pressure. I don't think it's going to bother him. So I think it sets him up pretty nicely.
For, a rookie quarterback, regardless of what round you go in, you know what I mean? But especially if you're not going first round, you're going to be expected to be sitting behind somebody. Even first round picks sometimes are sitting behind somebody. So that's a great opportunity for Shedeur to be learning from Joe Flacco, who's a Super Bowl champion, who's had a lot of success in this league. So that's a great opportunity for him. I think that's, like you said, it's a great position for him to be in. Cornerback 2, 3. I mean, should he have been a 5th round pick? That's the debate. But with him being a 5th round pick, that's usually where they sit in the 3rd spot. But it's definitely going to be showtime this season in Cleveland because, like you said, I mean, Joe Flacco is not the long-term answer. So it's going to be a question of, is he going to finish out the season? Are they going to want to see their rookies at some point midway this season? And basically, when are we going to see Shedeur Sanders in a regular season game? That's what everybody wants to know.
Yeah, so he had one good game, missed the game, and then the last one, from what I read, look, he was playing behind the 3rd string. It looked like the early Colorado offensive line out there. Like, he didn't have anybody to block for. He was running for his life. I didn't see it, but he didn't have great numbers. So we'll see how the season goes. His brother, Shiloh, did not make the roster for Tampa Bay and had a little bit of a controversy. He was getting blocked downfield against the Bills.
Yeah.
Against the Bills. Little extra after the whistle. Throws a punch, gets ejected, and the next day, even before we got to Tuesday, they released him.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously the question is, was he going to make the roster anyway? Like, did he get waived because of that ejection, or were they going to end up waiving him anyway? We'll never know. But obviously, when you're on the bubble and getting ejected from a preseason game, it's not going to help your case. So he ended up getting waived pretty much the next morning. Todd Bowles, head coach for the Buccaneers, was saying, you know, unacceptable regardless of the situation, you know, throwing a punch, we're not having that. The big question was he going to get picked up? He did end up clearing waivers. No team picked him up. The Bucs did not pick him back up. So the question is now, where's Shiloh Sanders going to land?
Yeah, so there's more opportunities besides just the NFL. We've seen the expansion of the UFL, Canadian football. You know, those seasons don't line up precisely with the NFL, but a lot of chances out there. And we wish the Jackson State graduate the best. He's still young, and sometimes it takes a little while to catch on in professional football. So Travis Hunter, since the draft, is it me, or he really hasn't been a hot topic? Like, people have talked about him, but he doesn't have that like really big personality. He just gets it done on the field. He has gotten opportunities on both sides of the ball. That was going to be a big question. How do you think it's going to play out for him this year with that ability, that unicorn ability he has?
Yeah, it's going to definitely be fun to watch and see, you know, how they manage that, how many snaps he's going to be getting at receiver and corner. Obviously, that was the big debate with him coming into the league. But traditionally, when somebody's doing their job, you're not going to hear much about them in a good way. So we haven't really been hearing much about Travis Hunter, but I mean, he's just doing what we expected at practice. Same with Cam Moore, the number one pick. No headlines coming out of there when guys are just meeting expectations. So yeah, it's been pretty quiet, but I mean, Travis is looking how we expect him to look. And we're going to see week 1. Like, this can be a really exciting football season between the Shador watch. No pun intended. Still got jokes. The Shador watch and watching Travis Hunter, seeing, you know, is he going to play both sides, how often, and just seeing, you know, him play out in this NFL career.
Yep, 2 SWAC champions there from Jackson State before they made the move to Colorado and then to the NFL. All right, let's get back into the MEAC SWAC Challenge. You and I were there last week. I dusted off this old shoulder, put a camera on it, went out there and captured some footage. I got to hold the camera up high to get that. Look at that, Symone. Like I'm 8 feet tall out there shooting the coin flip. It was a good first half. North Carolina Central and Southern were going back and forth. It looked like the Southern offense was going to be explosive. They had a couple of big plays, but I think if you go back and look at the entire game, if Central just makes a couple of tackles at the line of scrimmage, Southern might not have scored that game. It was big. It was two big plays. They're 14 points.
Yeah, that was the biggest issue for Southern. They just couldn't sustain any of their drives. Barely got into the red zone. Just couldn't make anything happen. Like, Central dominated the time of possession, which really helped in their favor. But like through the air, on the ground, Southern just couldn't make anything click. Defensively, they held their own early, but it's going to end up breaking. Like, if your offense is keeping your defense on the field for majority of the game, then that defense is going to wear down, especially when you're playing a Central team that we saw was not making any mistakes. I know they had that one interception later in the game, but besides that, you know, the quarterback made all the right throws, made all the right reads, checked down when he needed to check down. Well-balanced running back group, obviously led by Chris Mosley, but the other guys in the running back room were effective as well. So they hit you everywhere, like on the ground, in the air. They did not make any mistakes. So it was trouble for the Southern defense. They did their job in the first half, but at the end of the day, offense got to score, and the offense got to sustain drives, and they just wasn't able to do that.
Yeah, you see Trey Holly right there, the transfer from LSU. He's in there as a Jaguar, and he got the start at running back. He had that 80-yard run, but his team was down for so much of the game. They really weren't able to feed the run that much. They had to, you know, pass to try to get back in it. But I thought Central looked very balanced. The tight end with the touchdown there, quarterback, like you said, did a great job. And, you know, Mosley was he was the man running the ball for Central. They're going to be a team to be reckoned with again in the MEAC.
Absolutely. Very well balanced on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, Central looking like one of them ones right now.
All right. They'll get it done out of conference this week.
You want to explain?
No, I don't. I don't. YouTube.
We don't always pick our thumbnails. YouTube just automatically picks a frame and
tried to get us in trouble.
Okay.
So we did have the chance to talk to North Carolina Central's coach Trey Oliver after the game. Everybody was impressed with the Eagles. Trey was like, "We were all right."
I thought that was a slightly above average performance. I thought we left a lot out there. You know, I thought our guys, we didn't strain in the first half. And there were a lot of blocks, a lot of tackles that the guys made. I thought we could have bigger runs. If the receivers would have strained more on the perimeter blocking, if the O-line would have strained more, you know, in the trenches. Because the big guy, 91, we ran a couple plays and he, fell off some blocks and, made ankle tackles or clipped Mosley up. So that's why I challenged the guy in the second half. We got to strain. And I thought we did a better job of that. I thought we played harder in the second half. But you can't pick and choose. We lost. Playing one half football is what kept us out of Atlanta last year. So I'm expecting us to play 4 quarters of really good football. That's the only way you're going to be able to make it to the championship game. That right there tonight was above average performance. That ain't going to get us there.
So Trey just says, we were average, but one thing he did like, Kelby Givens, the defensive end for Southern, a lot of people have him as the defensive player of the year, not only for the SWAC, but maybe for all of HBCU football. They did a good job blocking him because he did not create any havoc or pressure for the Eagles. So you have to give it up to their offensive line, and Coach Oliver wanted everybody to know that after the game.
And I mean, we talked about the HBCU players that are now in the NFL. Central has 2 offensive linemen on NFL rosters. So shout out to the O-line coach. Showed it again this past weekend, blocking a guy that was on the FCS preseason watch list, in Kelby Givens.
Yeah, so he'll have a great year, but Central got it done in the trenches and did not let that pressure get to their quarterback. All right, let's hear from Trey Holly. A lot of people maybe haven't put a face with the new man back there in the backfield, coming from LSU to Southern. He has a little interesting thing he'll let you know about. And we'll also hear from Terrence Graves, Southern's head coach. They're off to an 0-1 start.
I've been having Chucky since high school, you know what I'm saying? I grew up watching Chucky. I like Chucky. But nah, seriously, I look at it as, Chucky, he little, I'm little, he go out and kill, so I feel like that's what I got to do. People look at me as I'm undersized, so just go out and show them. That's my motivation.
After Holly's touchdown, it sounds like you had a heartfelt moment with him, hugged him. Can you share with whatever you're willing to and what that moment meant to you, Holly?
Well, I was excited for the young man. The young man has been through a lot, and he's had an opportunity to become a member of our football program. And I told him earlier, we had a conversation yesterday, and I told him earlier today, just go out and be who you are. Let the game come to you and just play the game. And that's what he did and what we do. Anytime a guy scores a touchdown, I'm always going to have a shareable moment because I want to let them know that, hey, you did something to help the football program. And so I'm proud of him. I'm proud to see his perseverance, his attitude, and I'm happy for him.
I just want to give thanks to God. Because without him, I wouldn't be in this position. Second, I want to shout out Coach Graves for, allowing me to be a part of this football team when he didn't even have to. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I feel like we got to get better all around. I feel like we came in too hype. That's it. I mean, we came in too hype. We thought we had the game, but unfortunately, we fell short.
So Trey Holly gets a second chance there at Southern, off to a good start under the tutelage of Coach Graves, but they're going to have to get that offense going. Didn't start the quarterback that a lot of people thought. There was some unspoken things we didn't really get a full answer on there. They can run the ball, but You can have the greatest running back in the world, Symone. If you can't get that ball out on the perimeter and keep the defense honest, they're going to see a lot of those 31, 34, 35, 14 type games.
Yep, got to put the ball in the air at the end of the day.
All right. So how did you feel? Our first game of the year, we had to kind of shake the cobwebs off. I don't know about you. I was tired. What time did we leave the stadium?
Like close to 1 o'clock.
I was tired.
Very close to 1 o'clock.
I was tired at halftime.
I'm still trying to recover from Saturday night.
I love Jukebox. They did a new edition set. I thought, you're never going to go into a game thinking the human jukebox is going to sound bad.
Right.
I thought they sounded really good.
I love the wedding fan that
803 Fresh. Yeah, they hit that. People are going to hit that all year.
they won the crowd in the band. Southern did.
Did you think it was going to be anything different?
I'm just saying. 1-0 for crowd and band.
No, they put on a show here in Atlanta. Southern this week will be at Mississippi Valley State. All right, let's show it to the fans one more time, in case you've been just kind of scrolling through. Miles, let's bring up the schedule. It's a Thursday night. You can surprise us. You can bring up the SWAC. You can bring up the MEAC. We'll talk about it. All right, TC, talking about the SWAC again. All right, as we sit here tonight, it's a Thursday. We got Alcorn State, Northwestern, Alabama State, UAB. Friday night lights for Bethune-Cookman. They're at Florida International, and then the big slate on Saturday. Hampton, all right, Hampton, go down there and make some noise at Jackson State. I love that out-of-conference matchup for Hampton. FAMU and Howard, Alabama A&M, Arkansas, a little payday there. Southern at Mississippi Valley State. UAPB getting paid against those Red Raiders. Labor Day Classic, that's always a good one. Langston and Grambling. Let's go over to the MEAC one more time, if we please. All right, Towson, Norfolk State Thursday night. Delaware at Delaware State. Little in-state rivalry. The two big names in the MEAC will kick things off on Thursday night. Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson. Howard, FAMU, we just talked about it. New Hampshire, North Carolina Central. Wofford at South Carolina State. How will Chennis Berry and the boys look this year? We've seen North Carolina Central. They're expected to finish 1-2. Those Eagles look good. Morgan State, they'd love to play spoiler this year. They'll have a chance to have a good showing on the road on Saturday against South Alabama. All right, so your Eagles are playing on Thursday. Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson. Outside of that, which game are you most excited about, looking forward to, has good storylines this weekend, either in the MEAC or the SWAC?
Probably the Orange Blossom Classic, FAMU versus Howard. Two teams that, like we said, it's a rematch of 2023.
2 years, not last year's.
2023.
23. Yeah.
2023 Celebration Bowl. Two teams that we expect to have good seasons, but aren't being talked about as the top dog. Obviously, we're looking at South Carolina State. We're looking at Central in the MEAC, and then in the SWAC, we're talking about Sunday, the Jackson State. But those are two teams we expected to, want to push up and sneak up on some people and still make it in December. So it'll be good to see what this FAM team is looking like early, what this Howard team is looking like early, and are we not talking about them enough?
And who can make their claim in the West? Southern expected to win the division, but they opened the season with a loss, and Central looked really, really good. So can somebody else say, hey, look at us in the West. Forget about those Jaguars. Check us out. So they'll have that opportunity. Prairie View and Texas Southern, that game will go a long way towards bragging rights. It got a little spicy at the press conference this week as well. So more eyes on that game, which will be really cool. Hey, if you're saying you guys didn't talk about D2 football, we have a whole D2 football show.
We have two D2 football shows. What you want? You want Steve and
Chris?
You want Sly and Jamie and me sometimes? Because Sly, let me just tell y'all, Sly scheduled our D2 show for Sundays. I don't know about y'all, but Sundays in the fall, that's for watching football, not talking about football.
That's not going to work.
That's not going to work. So y'all would see Sly and Jamie every Sunday talking D2. Y'all see me sometimes. But we have two D2 shows.
Yeah, so if you're on YouTube, check us out there. Just scroll through, take a little trip. We might even figure out a way to put some links up here for you to check out. I'll let Symone do that. My track record on YouTube this week,
Just subscribe and
might-
turn your notification bells on for HBCU game day.
I might be banned this week. All right, she's Symone Stanley. I'm Tolly Carr. You guys enjoy. Are you doing a game this weekend? Are you on location anywhere working?
Nah, I'm just watching.
Just watching? Okay. I'll be on the call for HBCU Go, doing play-by-play for Benedict hosting Fayetteville State. So I'm pretty excited about that one on Saturday. So if you check out that game, you can check me out there. But whatever football you're watching, you know we'll be talking about it next week and how it all goes down from the weekend. Until then, you guys have a great time. We'll see you later.